Hi and hello everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and it's time for the weekly track roundup, my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on a bunch of songs that have dropped over the past week or so, whether I loved them or hated them or felt somewhere in between. I mention them, they are linked down below, so you can check them out for yourself. That is the point of this series. Also linked down below, we have a Turntable Lab affiliate link. If you want to go over there and buy some records, some turntable stuff, we get kickback from it. That would be great. Would appreciate it. Also down there, our Patreon page. Get some extra bonus monthly content while supporting us in the process. Our YouTube Shorts page is down there to subscribe today. See that awesome, cool short form content that we're putting out over there on a regular basis. And finally, a shout out down below. One of our editors, Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy, has a new song out under his musical project Lit Major that will be linked down below for you to check out too. I think it's a swell song myself. Would I say that just because I know Jeremy and Jeremy edits videos for me? I guess you would have to check the song out and see for yourself. All right, let's move into the worst tracks of the week section. There's actually a lot of songs in this week's weekly track roundup, honestly, so I'm not going to spend too much time on anything because I want to get through all of it, all right? So bear with me. It might be a bit of a roller coaster ride, starting with this new one from Valet, Taylor Swift. This is one of the most mindless songs I've heard in my entire life. I feel dumber after having heard what of it I could stand. I absolutely don't get the appeal at all from the production to him sounding basically asleep on the microphone to there pretty much being no reason for this to be called Taylor Swift other than, to kind of just gain clout off of Taylor Swift's name. Let's go. All right. The new U2 song sounds like a damn Ford F-150 rock guitar commercial music bed. We don't need it. Also, this new one from YG and Tyga, and I believe Lil Wayne is in the mix as well, is just goofy and just not entertaining at all. Plus the vocal samples that are in place of what should be, like a decent chorus, are grating and obnoxious and just like, we don't really need it. We don't need it. All right, moving on from there. This new Rolling Stones track featuring Lady Gaga is a 7-minute slog, really trying to sell itself as something that is like, big and over the top and soulful when it's really just, it's too much. It's too much. It's just way too much and self-obsessed, honestly. Yeah, that's where I will leave that. All right. New one from NSYNC. From like the forthcoming Trolls soundtrack. The vocals are so hideously pitched on this thing. I just feel like I'm listening to an AI boy band. It's awful. And we have this new one over here featuring Glorilla, 5EO Foreign, CMG The Label. It's a CMG The Label project. Cha Cha Cha. The Glorilla verse on this thing is so awkward and so offbeat and so awful. Couldn't even make it through the track. This is trash. This is unbearable. All right. Guitar in My Room, new crossover cut thanks to Lyrical Lemonade from Kid Cudi and Lil Durk. And a really odd pairing, and that pretty much bears out in the song not really being all that quality, not a standout tune, production is bland, Durk and Cudi have little to no chemistry whatsoever, have no idea why this exists, other than to say, hey, there's like a Cudi and Durk track now. We don't need it. All right. Corey Feldman has a new track out titled Deceptive Deborah. He's doing his best, and by best, I mean worst, Michael Jackson impression on this track. Deceptive Deborah, I imagine, is like, a relative or, the cousin of Dirty Diana, something like that. This track is a laugh and a half. Give it a listen. And finally, new one from AJR over here in the worst section. Of course, Yes, I'm a Mess is the title, and at least it's honest about it. We can say that. All right, meh. The tracks that I was pretty on the fence with, but you might like them more than me, thought I would shout them out anyway. Let's hear them out. First one is from Lil Uzi Vert. They have a new track out titled NFL. I guess they're trying to have like some, repeat success with that I Want to Rock track. track being so popular with the Philadelphia Eagles and, you know, in the National Football League. And so now, again, being very desperate to repeat that. We're coming out with a track titled NFL. It's a bit of a vibe, but honestly, like Uzi has been embracing more and more of these kind of Rage and Cardi vibes as of late, and this song is maybe the biggest example. I wish it kind of had more layers to it and developed more, but as far as Rage tracks go, it's not too bad. All right, we have a new one from Cemetery over here. New EP is out now. House of the Dead is at least one track off of it. You know, if you like really saturated, loud, distorted, heavy, weird, spooky trap music, you're looking for something to play while you are scaring trick-or-treaters, something like that at the end of the month, you can spin this. Do I think Cemetery has come out with better stuff? Yeah, it's not his most standout work, but it is okay, and I feel like he is continuing to paint himself into a corner a little bit. All right, a new one from Rick Ross and Meek Mill. It's kind of crazy that these two have come out with a new song, and this sounds like a track that they could have essentially dropped in the mid-2010s, and it would have sounded exactly the same. It's not bad. I just feel like this isn't hitting at the moment because it doesn't really feel like anything new from them. We've heard exactly this track before, and honestly, previous iterations were more exciting. All right, moving on from there, we have a little bit of an extra from an upcoming multi-disc Prince album deluxe edition. This track over here is, kind of like an archive extra that's going to be a part of the release. It's titled Get Blue. The vocals and tune on it are solid. The keyboards and, kind of backing instrumentation, the rhythm section, not so much, but that's because obviously I think the track is still clearly kind of in the demo stages, but, the vocals still are something to behold for sure. And, I think hardcore Prince fans should probably check it out. All right, we have a new one from Parannoul over here. Speaking of extras, this track, Your Place, is, a leftover from the last album they came out with earlier this year. After the Magic, I believe, is the title, if I recall correctly. Beautiful record, amazing record, one of the best rock albums and homespun albums of the year. And, this track is not nearly as, kind of lush and colorful and shoegazy and epic as many moments from that album. But hey, if you're a hardcore fan and you want to hear an extra, give this track a spin. All right. We also have a new one from Merlin Wood, Aditola as well on the track. Maza is the title. Love the beat. Love Merlin's half in the first leg. I feel like after that, the the second verse really is too sleepy. Trails off. It's honk shoe. It's Sleep City. I'm not that into it. I feel like, first half is stronger than the second, and that's really all there is to it. All right, we have a new one from Lorraine over here. And look, I'm liking the aesthetics. I'm liking the vibe. I'm liking the kind of dreamy and lush and seamless, soft, kind of enchanting blend of art pop and ambient music and R&B. It's like a lot of different things kind of flowing into each other in a very, messily defined way, but the difficulty to, I guess, kind of clearly decide what it is you're hearing is a part of the fun. With that being said, I just don't really feel like there's a strong tune coming out of this new Remote track. But I think this is maybe a track that could feel a lot better or stronger or more interesting on a record that maybe the whole album is like, a tapestry, and there's kind of a vibe going on that all of the songs are kind of reinforcing that's hard to fully dive into when you're hearing just kind of a snapshot of it on a single track. Either way, still looking forward to the new album when it drops, because I did like the last LP so much. Again, Remote is the title of the track. Moving on from there, we have a new one from Lotto, Issa, Party, Southern trap banger, or at least an attempt at one. I just don't think it's one of her stronger ones. It just kind of seems like a bit formulaic at this point. I'll say that. All right, we have Jungkook, Jack Harlow teaming up for a track that pretty much sounds like a Justin Timberlake song. It's a Justin Timberlake song. That's really all it is, with a decent bass line. And, Jack Harlow's guest verse is okay. We have a new one from Lil Yachty and J. Cole. These two are teaming up on a new cut, and I think the heart is there on the track. It's in the right place. Cole does his thing. but I feel like stylistically these two are just kind of a mismatch. I mean, I'm glad they crossed over, but I feel like Yachty is like really kind of straining a lot vocally, and he's putting himself in an awkward position trying to stand up to Cole as far as like focus and lyricism and so on and so forth. And not to say, you know, Yachty is a mediocre or an uninteresting artist. He deserves his flowers. He deserves his praise, especially with that, you know, really out there last record that he just came out with. But like, you know, is he on the level where he's going to lyrically go toe to toe with Cole? Not really, you know. So again, it does feel like a bit of a mismatch, though. Certainly an entertaining one, you know, to kind of see these two on the same cut for sure. But yeah, The Secret Recipe was the name of that track. I think it's okay, even if some of the fans are kind of going nuts for it. Empress of Rina Sawayama, just coming through with a very lush, glistening little pop track with a lot of vibes, though I don't think the tune is one of the strongest from either, but still cool to hear these two teaming up here. We have a new one from Bad Bunny, who I think is also kind of, you know, handing us a track that is very run-of-the-mill, very painting by the numbers. Awesome synth intro, but by the time we kind of progress past that, it's sort of a basic one for him. Best tracks of the week, we have a handful of those. We have a new one from the Wolves in the Throne Room EP that has just been released. I've heard material from this EP before that I thought was just kind of okay, but this song over here, Beholden to Clan, is really kind of like the fiery, synthy, epic, multi-phase black metal cut, very wintry, that I was, you know, hoping to hear on this new EP. Great cut from these guys, and I've been listening to them for a very, very, very long time. Certainly one of the best modern black metal bands out of America that you can spin, in my opinion. All right, we have a new one also from Spiritual Cramp, whose upcoming album I'm really looking forward to. Herbert's on Holiday. It's punky. It is kind of poppy as well, but not in sort of like an overt pop punk way. It's just a really kind of catchy, amped up rock song with some heartening lyrics on it too. Cool to hear the band going into kind of a sentimental direction with the vibe of this track. Also liking this track, No Panties, with Sexy Red. This may just be like, you know, some kind of like series soundtrack song or something like that, but it's actually one of the most wild and unhinged songs I think Sexy Red has put out so far, and you know that's saying something, considering like that's exactly what she's freaking known for. So you know, check it out, give it a spin. It's an absolutely nuts song. We have a new one over here also from Pink Pantheress. You have the super cutesy low-key vocals. You have that kind of shuffling vintage dance beat. You have the pop song structure. You have the brief song length. Pretty much every piece of the Pink Pantheress formula is here on this new cut, but it's still sweet. It's still enjoyable. It's still a strong, cutesy little bop. Also liking this new one from Lust Sick Puppy, which came out a little bit ago. And look, I'm going to say it. Every single time I hear some new material from this artist, I feel like, you know, they're getting closer and closer to kind of like carrying the torch for this next, or what I hope to be like the next era. You know, what I hope the next era is for, like, you know, industrial hip hop type stuff, you know, jittery, weird, glitchy industrial hip hop stuff. And this track, Chokehold, is a great example of that, in my opinion. All right. Hemlock Springs, producer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, singer extraordinaire, finally has dropped this new EP, Going, Going, Gone. There are some bangers on it we've already heard as singles. There are a few deep cuts, namely this song over here I wanted to point your guys' way, which is titled The Train to Nowhere. And, you know, the deep cuts from what I'm hearing are just as good and just as solid as, you know, any of the singles. So, you know, if you're looking for some kind of zany, homespun synth pop, give Hemlock Springs a shot. All right, a few more. New one from one of the best artists out of Japan as of late. That would be Haru Nomuri. New EP out, which we are going to link below some material from, specifically this track. What I'm hearing so far, it's kind of sounding like Haru is dropping some of the most aggressive and over-the-top and passionate vocal performances of her career so far, and that is especially the case for Surviving is Resistance, especially, you know, during like the screamed portions of the song. Really fun and really passionate guitar work throughout the track as well. Haru continues to put out some damn fire, I'll say that. All right, a couple more. Flyana Boss. Awesome, young, funny, entertaining, creative, and quirked up hip-hop duo. They are back with a new single, a new banger. This is one of the most fun tracks that I've heard from them so far. Big One is the title, and every single time I hear a new track from these guys, I hear more, laughs, more character, creative production choices, and good duo chemistry as well. So, loving hearing these two, really come up and grow together artistically. All right, Conway the Machine, Conductor Williams, Flame, Love the Genius on the track as well. It's just a really raw, lo-fi, good quality abstract hip-hop song. It's quick in, quick out, zany production too. Really kind of like hearing the wild energy that these two generate on this track. Autopsy, legendary death metal outfit Autopsy, just last year came out with a really good, really solid, heavy, aggressive, and insane death metal album that was wild as hell. And they have a new single out and a new album that's dropping this October too. They're dropping another record so soon. And this track over here, Throat Saw, is insane as well. The vocals are vicious. The guitar work is nuts. The riffs and the distortion are just head crushing. Just really loving the viciousness of this track. Autopsy just can't take a fucking L with this new stuff. I don't know what it is. And finally, I just want to give a quick shout out to Armand Hammer, Elucid, Billy Woods' new album. We Buy Diabetic Test Strips is out now. The song over here that we have linked down below is produced by LP. Not going to talk too much about it because I am planning on reviewing the record ASAP this week. So just shouting it out, just pointing it out. Again, listen to the track, spin it. Diabetic Test Strips, look up the record, production from JPEG Mafia on the album as well. And that is pretty much going to be it for this weekly track roundup. Love you guys. You are the best. Mwah. Over here next to my head, another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Tracks of Forever.